Okay, so I'm looking at my notifications because I'm in the process of just getting all of my thoughts together. So when I'm writing, I have so much in the background to working. You have to understand you have to eat for your immune system. And some of you are very well traveled, very diverse, and you have a lot of little demons or antibodies that have been exposed to so many different foods and so many different things that you have to feed those little babies. You have to feed them. Okay? And so I'm eating for my immune system. My immune system is very, very basic now. I don't have all those little demons inside of me that I have to cater to, feed, or anything like that because they've been purged out. I didn't force them out. I didn't make them leave. I just did what my body had to do by releasing them. Okay? And that's really the main thing, is releasing the demons without forcing them out. And it takes time. And so my diet or my intake of food, it'll be vastly different than yours because you guys have so much in you. Okay? You have so much in you that you have to deal with, that you have to come to terms with, that you have to assimilate to. Excuse the others. That you have to assimilate to. And so you have to eat for your immune system, not for your blood type, but for your immune system. And so if my immune system is very strong, I've released so many of the guests in my body that want to have all the diverse food. And so then I'm only eating the chicken thighs and the balsamic vinegar and the olive oil and the mac and cheese. And I don't eat a lot of nightshades. I'll eat spaghetti. Every once in a while it has the nightshades, right? Tomatoes. But with all the spicy food, that's why people are so allergic to nightshades, because of the antibodies that get developed from the nightshades. Because it's so much. I mean, the most aggressive nightshade is the cayenne pepper. And then the most non-aggressive would be like maybe bell peppers or tomatoes. But there's allergies. There's allergies to tomatoes. There's allergies to peppers, bell peppers. And so then you're like, well, what the heck then? What the heck? And so I did, let me just go to this post, because I don't want you guys thinking that my intake of food will be the same as yours. And so when you think about it, if you're so worried about the chemicals in the processed food supply, but are eating spicy vegan food found in certain restaurants, those extremely spicy food full of curries and aggressive nightshades will develop certain antibodies, if not released, will munch on you from the inside. And so I actually looked up nightshades because that came up in my group a few times, that they're allergic to nightshades, they don't want to eat it. But what vegetables are considered nightshades? Well, white potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, bell peppers, cayenne pepper, and paprika. Well, holy shit, I like tomatoes. I don't say eat a lot of them, but I eat enough of them. I mean, I don't overdo it. I have them still in my fridge from even last week. I don't have tomato sauce every day with, I have really just the burritos and not very spicy Mexican burritos or chimichangas. I drink milk. I eat some fruit, and I'll have the chicken with the balsamic vinegar and the olive oil and the mac and cheese. And I'll have some yogurt and maybe some milk and cereal. But then that's why I haven't been buying so many vegetables. I actually have not been in the vegetable section at all. I haven't even been craving them. Like, some of you have been craving salads. When you crave all these different foods, it's the antibodies in your immune system that is actually running your food intake. And so you don't want to starve the demons in your body, and you don't want to force them out, because that's what people are doing in the medical holistic systems. They're trying to force things out, or they're starving things out. And so then it works against the person. Okay? And so what I'm showing you on my end is where you might end up relative to your culture. If you're like in the UK and you don't really have Kraft mac and cheese, but you have Yorkshire pudding, and I don't even know what's in Yorkshire pudding. But if you have really mild food that is highly nutritious, that has milk and it has the fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals, you'll have probably the same food every single freaking day. because it satisfies all the different nutrients that your body needs, and it satisfies the antibodies in your body that are keeping you protected without going to excess. When you have such diverse foods in your cupboard, where you have all these spices and you have all this processed food and all this vegetables and the fruits, and you're making your shakes and making all this stuff, right? Now you're feeding all the guests in your body. Now you're catering to like 100 guests that are in your house that has so many different diverse tastes. You want to scale down that type of complication. That's the whole point of the JJ world, is scaling down complication and simplifying everything. And you still get straight to the point. With all the diversity out there, when you think about it, the diversity out there is like a circuitous way to get to the point. But hey, it's interesting. I mean, right? I mean, when you're eating different foods and it's like spicy here and not so spicy here and it's tasteful over here and it's this over here, you're just like, oh, this is so amazing. This is so good. Oh my God, it's satisfying my palate and this and that. And so food then becomes an entertainment type of thing. Food becomes not really keeping you alive, but food becomes then another exploitative capitalistic tool to keep you buying more of the same of the stuff. And so that's why there's so many different restaurants out there. There's so many different restaurants. Why is that? Because you have so many different people with so many different cravings that have been programmed by their immune system and by their exposure. They've been off to India, they went to China, they went to Africa, they went to Israel, they went to Greece. And so, yes, they're eating all the different foods and parasites are still taken up inside of them. And they have the memories, the B-cell memories that are replicating. And so when people are traveling so much and they want to be cured, they're either getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's all the experiences and diversity they've ever been out to, dealt with, or they're getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier because they're in the yoga and the ayahuasca and all that stuff. And so those experiences are munching on them from the inside, and that's the life that people lead. And they love it. Okay, that's great. But you have to understand where it comes from. And so that's why my food intake is really very basic. I don't want all the vegetables. I don't need it. Okay? Again, the nightshades, the most extreme is the cayenne pepper, and the most benign is like the tomatoes. But people still have allergies to it, right? And so here's the thing, and I'm going to paste this in there. Strong bodies, strong immune systems, exposure to any offending protein will not cause breakthrough infection, and no need to use mass therapies, though your exposure to any frequency might bring up predisposed issues already held inside. How aggressive your predisposed issues are is relative to how many you hold within that was not released. Okay? And so I have a strong body, I have a strong immune system, and so any kind of frequency or viral exposure, which is a bunch of people, will bring up mucus where I'll just cough it out and that's it, or I will have something in my body that is predisposed I have to deal with, and I will deal with it. But it's not as aggressive because I've dealt with most of, if not all of, my predisposed issues, most of them, the most aggressive ones. Okay? But we have people who have strong bodies but weak immune systems. And so exposure to any offending protein will cause breakthrough infection regardless of how well you think you are protecting yourself via medical holistic. And so your exposure to any frequency will bring up predisposed issues recently acquired or already held inside, which is why those with strong bodies and weak immune systems don't even know if they held the monkeypox or anything inside of them. And then when they get exposed to somebody, they have a weak immune system, so they don't have the defenses to then block those bacteria. And so they get recently acquired infection. That is why the CDC and everyone says to wash your hands and stay away from people with open sores and wear a mask, and here, take this mass therapy to help protect you. But we know that those aren't 100%. And so, your exposure to any frequency will bring up predisposed issues recently acquired or already held inside. And so that's where you have then the back-to-back pandemics with people, right? And so most of the population have strong bodies, which is quote unquote, but extremely weak immune systems from all the protection used in the medical holistic system. And then antibody buildup is from all the natural and synthetic ABX all over the world. And again, like I said, if you're so worried about the chemicals in the processed food supply, but are eating spicy, extremely spicy vegan food out in certain restaurants, okay, those extremely spicy foods full of curries and aggressive nightshades will develop certain antibodies, if not released, will munch on you from the inside. And that's how the vegan and vegetarian, gluten-free, organic, all ethnic food people are looking like the crypt keepers. Why they're so fucking skinny. Because those little beasts are replicating inside of them, eating out from the inside. And so the beasts and the monsters are devouring them, and then they lose substance and lose protection. And then when they get exposed to another frequency, whether it's a group of people or a new viral entity or anything, the wind can fucking blow, or they eat a food, they die from a heart attack or a stroke. Okay? And so then when you look at the Midwest people who are strong, built like brick shit houses out here in Ohio, you realize all you need is really meat, milk, cheese, eggs, maybe a few vegetables, not so much, a little bit of fruits, yeah, okay. But you definitely need a lot of milk, need a lot of meat, cheeses, ice cream. And then you release those excess babies so you're not turning into, Porky Pig. And so that's why my husband has strong ass fucking bones. When I hit my bone against his shin bone, it freaking hurts. His bone smacks back, literally. He's strong. I wouldn't want to mess with him. He is strong. He's cunning. You don't want to fuck with my husband. He's the silent but deadly type. Okay? But he had to be. You're in a dog-eat-dog world. The Midwest is like that. With all the craziness. And the weather. And the hunting, the fishing, and all the people with their issues. And so I'm glad I married him, because I can see now how shit works. I see it on both coasts, and I experienced that, lived in that kind of situation, and then I see then another microbiome that is totally different than what I grew up with, and it's like, oh, it's eye-opening. And so the Midwestern diet is far more effective in strengthening and surviving extreme conditions than the freaking two coasts, or all the vegan, vegetarian, organic, yoga, meditation, crystal shit. And that's why other people are dying in fucking California and New York who don't have anything to them. That's why they have cancer, disease, and chronic illness and autoimmune disorders and are all into the cannabis, which is making its way over here in the Midwest. We have a lot of people on cannabis because our bodies are breaking down. We have countrymen, country boys that are aging, have issues, and now they have to turn to the cannabis industry because they can't handle the pain of their body trying to build itself up again because they don't know how to respond to it. They keep adding more antibiotics to their body. Okay? So you eat for your immune system. You don't eat for your blood type. You don't eat for fucking politics, religion, or the scientific dogmas. You eat for your immune system. You don't force out entities. You don't freaking play that hostile takeover. When someone is starving themselves and you're seeing them all in their fucking diets and their influencers going like, oh, look what I did. Here's my freaking shake. And that's all I drink is my shake. And here's my diet food and all this other stuff. They're starving themselves. Okay? They're starving themselves. They're yeah. And so they're starving their monsters, and those monsters are going to turn back and kick their ass later on. Okay? And then when someone takes all their antibiotics and taking all their colloidal silver and all that other shit, they're now attacking themselves. When they're doing the heavy aggressive therapies, or they're going to Mexico to do all the juicing shit and getting all the other turmeric and honey and apple cider vinegar, they're attacking their own body. That's a hostile takeover. Starving somebody out is a hostile takeover. Attacking your body with antibiotics and all the different aggressive elements is attacking, and that's all over the medical holistic world. Oh, but remember, they're academically trained to do this. You see them that they have their degrees in whatever, not so much in the medical holistic, but they have their degree in like journalism. And now they just dealt with the disease and they starved their disease, right? And so they look kind of cute. They look healthy. And so now they're like promoting their diets to everybody. Oh, look here's my pretty food that it's all, gluten-free and this free and that free. And look, I'm so healthy now. I'm starving my ability to evolve. Just watch your friends that just got over a disease because they starved it out. Now they're a fucking nutritional therapist into starving somebody else who has cancer, disease, and chronic illness. And so you eat for your immune system. So in the JJ world, you don't force out the demons. You cough it out. But you don't take aggressive elements to anesthetize them or to do a hostile takeover, and you don't freaking starve them out either. You cough them out, you release them, you set them free. They'll go to find another entity to go and inhabit. You know it's going to happen when you cough something out, right? It's going to find the nearest organism to go and inhabit. And now you let them go, and they're somebody else's fucking problem, not yours anymore. That's how you eat for your immune system. But don't ever copy what I'm doing right now, because I'm eating for my immune system. I already dealt with the mycoplasmic monster a couple weeks ago. It was fucking torturous. I can sleep 5 or 6 hours and be amazing, but I also, if I need to take a nap, I'll take a nap for 4 hours in the middle of the day. You don't always see everything I'm doing, but I do tell you, I took a nap yesterday, I did this, I got up really early, and my dog had to do whatever, and so I get my sleep when I need to. I'm not held to any kind of schedule. Okay? But I've dealt with my issues for the most part. So you cannot compare what I'm doing and try to live up to what I'm doing when you haven't even dealt with and I don't even know what your lifestyle is. Some of you have lifestyles that are so aggressive, that are so jam-packed full of activity, that there'll be no way for you to get where I'm going unless it's like years down the road, if you even get to that point. You seriously have to cut down your lifestyle, cut down your expenses, stay home more than not, and deal with the shit. Or when you don't deal with it right away, and then you're just doing what you're doing, and then a stronger frequency comes up and brings up your predisposed issues, then you're like, okay, this is a gift from God, okay? And then you stay home and you deal with it. You don't try to accelerate that process. You sit with it and you feed it. You sleep. Let me tell you, when I was dealing with that co-infection, it took me 3 weeks to get over, to where I felt like 100%. My husband took him a week because he took NyQuil. So he developed now antibodies from that NyQuil. It'll metastasize later. Who knows how organized it will be. But he'll have to deal with that again later on when there's a larger frequency, a stronger one, that'll bring that up right again, and he'll have to deal with it again. And so if you don't deal with all of your predisposed issues at the time that you get the gift of experiencing it, it'll come back again, and it might be stronger and stronger and stronger until you actually deal with it. So you cannot compare what I'm doing with your situation right now, because I'm 6 years into this. 6 fucking years into this, doing this every single day. Every day. I got off the J juice a couple years ago. I did 1 saltwater flush in February on my birthday. Okay? And the rest, I'm just coughing stuff out as I get exposed to it. Now I can go into microbiomes that are aggressive, and my body will respond the way it needs to respond relative to how aggressive that environment is. And so I'll feel stuff, or I'll hawk it out the next morning, poop it out, whatever. Okay? And so, so you eat for your immune system, but do not ever compare your situation with mine, because they're not the same. You don't have half of the experience that I have in this, and you need to take the time. You can't shortcut this. Nobody can shortcut. You can't shortcut this. Okay? There are no shortcuts in life. As much as you think there is no shortcuts. You have to deal with everything that you've ever ran away from. Everything. And it's not easy. All right, bye.